Hello, welcome to GBS. We thought we'd do a quick video just showing you around what we're doing in the factory for those of you that can't visit due to the COVID-19. Just give you an overview, what we're doing, what it's like here, and also for our customers abroad that haven't got the chance to come over. So we're going to have a look around the factory and give you a brief idea of what we do, what it's all about. Right, welcome to the showroom. We'll just talk you around what we've got, a little bit about what we've got in here. So we've got our kit spares bases in here. We've got our trade counter. We've normally got Steve on the trade counter. We've got parts going all over the world and people coming in for parts. And we'll give you an idea of just some of the bits we've got on the shelf. So we've got a full range of all the motor race oils, and then a slightly cheaper range of the quality lube oil. So depending on what you're doing, we do all the power light, alternators, starters. We've got all our looms, electrical stuff, pipe across filters, alternator brackets, water pump pulleys, oil housings, fuel caps, seat belts, generally everything to build one of our cars and most other kit cars, race cars, specialist cars. Do quite a lot for rally, some vintage cars. It's got quite a varied mix of components on the shelf. Then going further down, we've got some of our components on display. So we've got the ATR parts, we've got the ATR shocks that we manufacture, that we'll have a look at them in a minute. Just a general idea of some of the parts for customers to get an idea of what we've got. So the bigger radiator that we're now doing is standard on all the Duratec's and the cars going out to hotter climates, which is a single core twin pass but 60mm thick, a lot more efficient. We've got some other ATR parts, so brake calipers, fuel regulators, oil housings, sumps, the new front hubs, and then we've got some nice laid out looms so people can get a real good understanding of the electrical structure on the car. So that is the Zero main chassis harness and how it all goes together, which we'll probably do another video and cover that separately. And we've got some of the options. So you've got your standard colours that we offer on the Zero. So we've got the choice of the standard 9 colours, and then we've also got the option for the carbon fibre, front wings, stone guards, there's a dash as well, and other parts, exhaust, and then we've got some of the seating range we have. So we're a partner with Cobra, so all the Cobra range of seatings. We don't stock everything, but we have a few for you to try out for size. Then we've got our own GRP seats that we do. And coming forward again, we've got the 2 engine options that we put in the Zero. So we've got the 2 litre Z-Tech, which we're still doing a few of, but it's pretty much come to the end of its life now. Having said that though, we've still got all the parts and everything to support them for a good few years to come. And then we've moved on to the new 2.5 litre Duratec. This engine's going to be the future of the Zero range. Ford have got supply until 2024 at least, and we've based the new Gen 2 and the full component build around this power plant, and then it's utilising quite a few of our own components. So it's got our own ATR throttle bodies on it, oil housing, got the water pump pulleys and so on, which we'll have a look at them being manufactured in a minute. Right, now we're into the main part of the stores. Show you a little bit what we've got in here. We are running out of space a little bit, so it's a bit cramped. So we've got Steve's main packing bench. We've got some parts that are going out. Just to show you some of the bits. So we've got one of our new gear linkage sets that's going on to a Mazda gearbox on the 2.5 litre Duratec. We've got things like the brake pipe kits. So all the brake pipes in the car come all cut to length, pre-flared with all the fittings on ready for your build. So there's loads of parts going out, and we'll have a look at a couple of kits that are going out. So we've got one here. This one's just being boxed up and packaged, ready to go out. It's going to California for a customer out there. He's ordered a Gen 2. It's a narrow body chassis, standard body chassis. It's been fully panelled, painted. It's got all the carbon carbon dash with it, carbon parts, quite a few other bits, wheels, all the ATR bits. So we're just packing everything up, getting the inventory and everything for all the customs and that, and this will be closed up and shipped out hopefully next week. Then got another chassis here. Again, this one's actually an export as well. I think this one's going to Canada, and it is a GT chassis with all the panels and that, and this will be getting boxed up, same as this one. Once this one's out of the way and we've got space to get the box in. All the new windscreens for the car. So the new windscreens now, we've got the heated screens available as an option. Show you one of them. So it's a full heated screen, and you've got your cables coming out the bottom and your strips on the top, and you can't actually see the wires in it. Really nice screen. So we're doing that as an option now. It's proving fairly popular. So we've got a new 2.5 litre crate engine that's coming from Ford. That'll be going out on one of the kits. Also got a few of the 2 litre Z-Techs available still. So that's the new 2 litre crate engine as well. Right, so we'll now look down the main part of the stores and then upstairs and that. With the kit spares and all the bits for the Zero, we aim to try and keep at least a car's worth of parts in stock at any one time, so that you can have spares if you damage anything, break anything or want a part, we can get it shipped out straight away. We've generally got most of the bits on the shelf. There's a few items, ECUs and some instruments that we order in specially, but most of it is on the shelf, so just to give you an idea of what we've got. So all the exhaust systems that we saw earlier over in manufacture, well, that's a finished unit. That's a 2.5 inch one for the 2.5 engine, so it's a slightly bigger bore pipe, and then all the catalytic converter and everything's built in. So we have a small cat that's actually built into the can. It looks a lot cleaner, keeps the heat down, everything lasts a little bit longer. Then got all your drive shafts, depending on what you're going for. All the prop shafts, because that's a Type 9 gearbox onto the Ford disc. Then we've got the Mazdas there, and the various different ones, 1875. We've got some engine parts, whether it's anything from a replacement oil filter to oil cooler kits, engine dowels. Loads of parts there. Spare wishbones. So like I say, we try and stock a corner of everything, so if anyone does have an accident or wants a part. We've then got some of the new parts. So for all the new alley hubs, all the wishbones for that, which are quite a bit lighter, a little bit higher grade tube and everything than the older ones. And we've then got the steering components. So all your steering racks, whether it's left or right hand drive, your steering shafts, ball joints, bushes, the clamps for the steering rack, anything like that. Still got some of the older parts for the old Pinto engines, do all the short and sumps still, the various nuts and bolts that we'll pick to then make all the sub-assembly packs up. So when you order a part, it comes with all the right fittings and everything. There's various different sizes, different types of rivets, etc. We've got a lot of the braking components. So, for instance, we've got the nice little handbrake that we use on the Zero that we've had made. So it's a nice short handbrake. It's got all the switch on and everything for your warning light. And do all your Ferodo pads and everything. Generally run the DS 2500, seem to work really well on the car. All your brake pipe kits, so we can do just plain copper, or we have them, like I said earlier, all pre-bagged up, cut to length, flared, ready to install in your car. We've got all standard brake pads, we've got the calipers, so that is a Ford rear caliper, and we've got all your braided hoses to go with it. Rear wheel bearing assembly for a Ford. And carrying on, we've got plenum chambers. So these are the plenum chambers that we manufacture over the road. These ones are actually the ones we supply to the 750 Motor Club for the 1800 Mazda engine. It will also fit the Zero and that, but it's a control part for a race series. We've then got some radiators and all your cooling pipes, so all the pre-bent stainless pipes, your rubber elbows, Jubilee clips, thermostat housing that we showed you earlier in manufacturing, that would then attach to the neck that goes on the back of the engine, and then your pipes will come around the side of the engine. Right, upstairs in the stores we'll show you what we've got. So we've got all your cables, so clutch cables, that's for a left-hand drive Type 9 or MT75 gearbox. We've got the right-hand drive, we've got all the handbrake cables, whether it's Ford or Mazda calipers, all to the right length, with all the right end fittings and adjusters on. On this side we've got lighting flywheels, that's for a Z-Tech. The shortened sumps we do for the Z-Tech that we saw being manufactured earlier. Clutches, flywheel bolts, clutch bolts, gear linkages, bearings, spigot bearings, all that sort of general transmission stuff here. We've then got more electrical section, so whether we've got plugs, all the little pins for the little Deutsch connectors or ECU connectors, and the corresponding plugs that then plug into our wiring loom, tape, etc. We've then got all the actual looms. So that's the main chassis harness that we saw in the showroom, bagged up. We've got then engine harness, which corresponds to that and just connects to it. That's a Z-Tech one. We've got the Mazda ones, different variants. It's another Z-Tech standalone loom. We've got all our wiper stuff here as well. So all the brand new wiper motors. Comes with a nice little kit there, and then we've got the gearboxes that fit in your scuttle that your wiper arms attached to. Your tubes that link the gearboxes, we've either got it in a metre length or we've got them pre-cut just to fit straight in the car. Got again some more electrical bits, some of it we use actually internally, some of it goes in the kits. All your belts for the various alternator kits, they're like Duratec ones. This side we've got some of the lighting, so your cases for the headlamps in the sort of black and chrome, your headlamp lenses, either left or right hand drive, your fog lamps, reverse lamps, your rear lights, a few various options, and some of the trim parts that go into the car. Some of our consumable bits that we use there throughout the factory, just general bits and bobs. I'll just show you the carpet sets. So for the Zero we have the carpet sets, everything's bagged up, so it's every bit of carpet you need for the car. These are all CNC cut out, so there's no trimming or anything, that they're designed to fit in the chassis, so it's just a case of checking the fit, bonding them on. We use a really good adhesive, which you can't see enough, but it's an impact adhesive. You put it on both surfaces, give it a few minutes just to go tacky, and it's a really good bond. You have a real job to take the carpet back off if you need to. We've got them for standard cars and the GT. We've then got some of the various panels and bits, so some of the seat back trims, the footwell trims, your boot infill panels there. Over here we've got some of the machine parts that go into the chassis and some of the components. Like we showed you earlier, that's the machine boss that the fuel sender goes into, so that gets welded into the fuel tank, and then you've got blind M5 holes. There's a gasket on there and the sender goes, so it's really good seal, it won't leak, you don't get any smells or anything. There's other machine bits, so all the seat belt bosses on the car, These all get welded on the chassis over the road, but they're a really nice turn part. Same for the lower ones. Nice turn part with its shoulder on, so it actually goes into a little counter bore. Then it's just stitched on, so there's no way of getting any spatter in the threads. There's all the fixings that weld onto the swivel parts. Bonnet pins that go on to the new Gen 2 now, that screw into the side rails so your bonnet locates better, so you get a nicer shut line, and loads more little bits. Just got a stock of a few of the manifolds. There's some others stored around, but these are Mazda 1.8, some Z-Tech ones as well. We've then got instruments, so we stock all the Smith's flight instruments and internationals, depending what you go for, and you've got options on there whether you want a chrome bezel or a black bezel, black face, white face, depending on what you're after. Have the looms, so for the instruments we have a separate instrument loom. These plug into each individual clock, then that plugs into the main chassis harness, so you can assemble all your dash up separately, get it all clipped up nice, and then as you fit that to the car you plug it into the main harness. Fuel sender, we spoke about earlier, that fits to that machine part on the tank. So we've got a couple of boxes full of the Bosch fuel pumps that we run now. We've gone to the genuine Bosch pumps, a bit more reliable, and a nice product. So all the parts that we have in stock are all available through Kit Spares, so you can either go on the website, if you can't find what you're looking for, give one of the team a call, or on eBay, we have a shop on there as well, or you can come and see us downstairs in the showroom. Any advice you want on any of the parts, again, speak to one of the team. We know the parts because it's what we fit on all the factory cars as well, so if there are any problems or fitment issues, we know them inside out because we're using them every day. We've got our fiberglass store up here. So we make all our own GRP, and we actually do this in another unit, but all the finished parts come into here waiting to go out in kit, and we keep a few spares in generally in white for people damaging, and then any colours are made to order. So a lot of the white sets as well are for cars that are being painted, so we just leave them as a flat white. So we've got all that, we've got the diffusers in a few different colours. Generally keep a few in stock of diffusers. The same with the dashboards. We've got the standard dashes, and we've got the carbon dash, eye screens, the various different wings, and we still keep some of the GRP as well for some of the older cars. So any GRP you want, just give one of the guys a call. For the windscreen, we can supply it as just the aluminium extrusion or pre-bent, ready to assemble yourself, and then the glass, or we can do it as a pre-cut and drilled, and then it's powder coated, so it's ready to put the glass in with the rubber and screw together, or we have them as a completely assembled screen with all the glass in, all the holes drilled, everything just ready to put on the car. So depending on what you want to do, you can choose which route you want to take on that one. Hi, welcome to behind the scenes of GBS manufacturing. This is where all our chassis are made, wishbones and all the sub-assembly fabricated parts. We have all the raw materials that make up your car, various different sizes of tube, box, exhaust parts, etc. We've got some exhaust pipes here pre-bent, bent over the road. And over here we have some of the exhaust that are all pre-cut. These will be ready to go in the jig later on to be actually made into 4-branch manifolds. They look like Z-Tech and Mazda ones, and we've got some Duratec ones at the back. So we've got our smaller welding bay in here for 2 welders, where we're producing a lot of the smaller components for the car. So at the moment we've got some clutch and brake pedals underway. These are tacked up ready for final welding, all tacked on the jig. Got some engine mounts, some alternator brackets. Also got a batch of sumps that we're just in the process of doing. So these have been profile cut out, pressed, fully folded, tacked together, waiting and to go into the actual final assembly jig where they're welded to the flanges and tested. We've got then all the wishbones of the car ready to go out, just keeping a stock of them on the shelf. Welded and finished ones on the top, tacked ones in the jig. Bottom, they all have a welding sequence and that to stop any distortion. We then have this side all the jigs that make up the various parts of the car, all your different wishbones and things. So we've got our sheet metal store here, so we've got all the aluminium, 3 by 1.5 metre sheets for all the panel work on the car. Got steel for the floors, some stainless there. A 3mm steel sheet, 6mm, so on various different sizes that make up the components. From the sheet metal, they then go on to our CNC profile cutter. So at the moment, we're just cutting out 0 Gen 2 floors. These look like they're standard bodies. So that's the front section of the floor going in. If you notice the little notches, they indicate where we actually put the stick welds to locate it. Then got our sheet metal area. So we've got a couple of old vintage machines, yet still really good, proper old classic British machines. Got a folder, so all the side panels, all the brackets on the car, everything's all folded up on a box pan. We've got a guillotine as well for cutting out some of the stuff, fuel tanks, etc. Cleaning area, so all the brackets are cleaned up and that. We've also got a few custom machines that we've made for forming back panels and so on, where you can't actually get in a normal folder. So we've got all the sheet metals cut out, folded, fabricated. It then goes onto the store here before they go onto the chassis. So you've got all your brackets. So for instance, we've got the radiator bracket. This is the new Gen 2 one. So it's got the mountings in for the nose cone, oil cooler. Then we put the studs on ready for your radiator. You've got the bare pedal bracket, handbrake mount. Every bit really that goes onto the chassis, whether it's a GT or a standard body. There's then also all the nice machine bits that are made over the road. So that's the new pin for the throttle pedal pivot. We have all our seatbelt bosses that are turned up over the road. So all the little sub-assemblies and details that make the chassis are on here. We've got some more of the profile cut parts on here, so all the exhaust flanges, so that's a Zetec flange, we've got the Mazda, Gervitec, Vauxhall, Ford Pinto, SE, loads of different exhaust flanges, some of the various bracketry and different things that make up the car. So we also make all our own exhaust silencers and systems, so just to give you an idea, these are the sleeves that we roll up, they're tigged down the seam, have the holes all in ready, and then we've got the pressed steel ends that go in, all the perforated tube and the acoustic wadding, and we'll show you the jigs for them in a minute. Make all the swirl parts, so it's a nice spun end, again all machined fittings for it, fully TIG welded, then each one is tested, and then it gets bagged up over the road and put onto the shelf or into a kit. Also got the oil catch tanks, some of the brackets for the rear caliper mount, he's waiting to go to powder coat. Another thermostat housings, again a nice CNC turn part that's then welded up. The scuttles, the new Gen 2 scuttle, it's all formed in a big press jig to get all the nice joggled edge on it. Then that'll go over the road, be riveted and bonded together and going on the car. Upstairs in manufacturing we've got our sort of clean room where we do all the more precision welding, so that's the TIG welding of aluminium and stainless components on the car. At the moment we're just doing fuel tanks. So this is one of the new Gen 2 fuel tanks. it's got the bracket on ready for your fuel pump and your fuel filter, then all the bosses go on. It's got the new type filler neck, so it fills up a lot faster than the older cars. And then the boss for the sender, again a nice CNC machined boss, welds in so it's 100% seal every time. Then each tank's fully welded up, and then they go downstairs and they're pressure tested in a bath to check for any leaks. Also up here we're doing the swirl pots. They're a nice spun aluminium part, goes on the CNC, we put all the holes in, part it off to the correct length, and then all the turn bosses go in. We have other components, so for the exhaust and collectors are all tigged up here, and then they go downstairs into the main assembly jig for the exhaust manifolds. We've got a nice chassis here. This one's just come out of the jig, been fully welded, and it's going to powder coat today. It's one of the new Gen 2 narrow bodies Mazda kit. It's a left-hand drive one. I think this one's going to Romania to a customer. Just some of the bits on the Gen 2, I've probably covered them before, but it's got all the new brackets on for the oil coolers, battery in the front, all the cross braces are in ready. There's a little fuse box mount on a stand there. A new one we've just done on the very latest Gen 2s is a new pin for the throttle pedal. Just makes it a little bit nicer. You've got all your lowered floors in the car ready. You've got the holes in ready for the seats. All your seatbelt mount bosses are in. The bolt in just to stop the powder coat and the shot blasting getting into them. Same for the upper seatbelt mounts. So they're just plugged ready for powder coat. All the studs are ready on, so your scuttle can drop straight on. This will be going with all its wishbones, and there's a few other little components going out with this order for the customer. And then we'll have it back in a week or so, ready for shipment. We've got our machine shop, clean engineering here. Just show you some of the parts we're doing. So we're making all the fuel regulators. That has the top fuel regulator element in there. Pulleys for the alternator. Bits for the thermostat housing, it's all being made over the road. Loads of little bits. All these parts are waiting to go out to anodising. We've got a few other jobs, so these are a component that we've made as a subcontract job that will go on a different vehicle. We've got the CNC mill. So as a company we invested quite heavily in machinery and that. We wanted to actually control the quality of the parts, the design of the parts, and make them in-house. So we've spent a lot of time and money developing our own parts. So at the moment we're just machining the calipers for the car. They start life as a 3-inch solid billet. Then gets turned into the 2 halves of the caliper. The CAD and the cam is all done in-house. That's programmed upstairs, so we'll go into the design office in a bit and have a look what's going on there. Let's make it quieter. On the exhaust we're making all the flexors. We're just setting up for these at the moment. Then we've got some billets, components. So these are going to make the water pump pulleys. These are going to be Duratec ones for the water pump. They're slightly larger diameter just to slow the pump down a bit, stop any cavitation at higher speed. We've then got some other billets that we're making the sumps from. And there's various fixtures and different things on the shelf. A few manual machines for second op-in. We do the gun drilling on here, so for the dampers, for all the rods for the dampers, we drill a 5mm hole down the length of the rod. So we've kind of got an old machine and adapted and developed it to do that job. Then we've got Thomas, He's in here manufacturing all the parts. He's a real CNC expert now. So I'm at the minute on the lathe. We're just looking at doing some new Duratec alternator mounts. So we're just getting the first prototypes done, and then we'll be doing a batch of probably 20 or 30 of these. Some components. So for the Duratec we're doing the oil system, so there's a breather system. It's a -10 fitting, that's going to weld onto the oil catch tank. And then this part goes onto the plastic cam cover. So we drill a hole, there's two nice little rib nuts, and then that bombs in the top. And then we have the 90-degree pipe with the braided hose for the tank. We've got then putting various cooling and everything on the machine. Minute. Thomas is just doing the Duratec alternator bracket, so we're just setting up for that. All the parts go on the car, the bits we saw earlier, so some of the seat belt bosses, bonnet pins, the fuel senders, lots of nice little machine parts that just add that extra level of quality and detail to the car. I'll show you a little part we're just in the process of developing. So we're looking to our own quick release steering boss. These are just some of the first prototype parts. So we're just trying these, and we've got some finished ones that are actually on vehicles now, and we're getting some mileage on it and doing some testing with them before we release them. Manufacture all our own exhaust for the car, all the tube work, so the roll bars, the wing brackets, exhaust manifolds, coolant pipes, etc. So we've just been setting up to make the exhaust pipes for the new 2.5 Duratec. We've got all the components here that make up the exhaust pipe. So each individual cylinder for the 4 parts, then the 2, and then the 1 making into the collector. This is our clean room where we use for assembling a lot of the sub-assembly machine parts. So this is our ATR damper that we make on site. All the dampers are built in here, going down a sequence. Every damper is then tested on dyno so we can get the right damping characteristics we're after for the car, whether that's going on a Zero, Lotus Elise, an historic race car. We've got them on all sorts of different vehicles now. We've got the dampers in varying lengths and different end fittings, anywhere from 12 inches up to 20 inches, with different ends, different bolt sizes. So there's lots of applications that we've got these going on to now. So we've got all the parts here that make up the dampers. So these are all made out in the machine shop. So that's the top for the damper, got all the bottoms with the adjuster on, the pistons, all the bits that go into making the damper. And we've got the different lengths, so depending on what rod length we want and what body length, we can build up different combinations to get the right stroke of damping. We want the droop and whereabouts it hits the bump stop, depending on what you're going. We've got different spring seats, so whether it's a 1.9 or a 2.5 inch spring, we've got the different seats to suit. Some of the ATR parts on here, so the gear linkers that you saw in the stalls earlier on Steve's packing bench, that's the machined alley part to it. These will be packed up and bagged up with all the other components that make up the kit. We've then got the caliper brackets, so for our own caliper, these are the brackets that go onto the Mazda hub, and then we've got the one for the Ford hub, so you can run the standard hubs with our own brakes on, rather than going for the full alley upgrade, depending on what you're doing. And then that runs a 300mm floating disc. But that's the same disc to use on the Ford hub, the Mazda hub, or on our own, so you can start off with a basic upgrade and then progress if you want to. So we've got our own billet alley hubs for the car, all machined in-house. The idea with this is that every bolt has 2 functions, so we've really tried to optimise the design, so the steering arm bolts on, the bolts that hold the steering arm on also hold the wheel bearing assembly, the bolts that hold the top mount on also hold the wing bracket, etc. I'm using a standard off-the-shelf wheel bearing, really nice unit, dead reliable, same as what Lotus used. It's got all the wheel speed sensor built in, so on the 2.5 litre cars with the Life ECU. We're running cables to them so we can have full traction, launch and a bit of stability control. So all the hardware is engineered into the car if you choose to use it. We've got the calipers, so these are the caliper halves that come back from anodising, and we've got the pistons that go in, so these will be assembled up. We've then got all the bolts and fixings for each job that go into for the Mark III Mazda gearbox, rather than using the standard clutch slave cylinder, which is okay, but the pipe comes out at a weird angle and it doesn't fit particularly well, and it's quite a heavy cast unit. We scrap that off. We use all the internals out of that, but in our own nice billet aluminium housing, and then a banjo fits straight on the end, so the orientation is full 360, so you can route the pipe a lot nicer, and it's got the bleed nipple on the end. We've also done these in a couple of different bore sizes now, so people that are putting a heavier duty clutch in for more competition use and higher powers, we can alter the bore size so the clutch isn't too heavy without altering all the pedal box and the more awkward area of the car. So we've got them parts. We've then got the new alley rear hubs. These will be available shortly for the car. So again, it's the same wheel bearing as we're using on the front, in our own CNC machine billet rear hub, and then we've got a rose joint on the wishbone with a toe link, so it's really easy to adjust and set up. It's quite a bit lighter as well, and it also enables us on the rear of the car to run a slightly longer shock, so we've got a lot more wheel articulation, which we found makes quite a difference. We've got some of the other components, probably look at it separate, but we've done a kit now for the Mazda. On the Mazda at the rear end, it has a bush in the top of the upright. We've found that when you drive in the cars quite hard, there's a lot of flex and movement in that bush. So we replaced that bush with a aluminium piece to push it in with a circlip. That's got a spherical joint in, so it allows it to flex, so you can still set all your geometry up, but there's no actual movement in it. And then on the bottom wishbone, we've got rose jointed outers, again with a toe link, so you can adjust it. Stiffens the whole rear end up, makes quite a big difference to the way the Mazda drives. They're starting to be quite popular now. I'll just show you the throttle bodies quickly that we make. So that's a set that will be going out for a Z-Tech. We've got a few various different ones depending on what application. So Mazda 1600, Mazda 1800, NA or NB, it's the same manifold, we've just got the staggered holes. Then got the Duratec, so whether it's a 2 litre Duratec or the 2.5 that's got the bigger port-ins. We've also got them with 2 angles on, so depending on if you're having a vertical engine or the 10-degree engine. So on the Zero we run it at 10 degrees because it optimises the packaging a bit, but some cars run them vertically, so we've got the manifold to correspond. All the nice billet fuel rails, again depending on what setup you're going and what cylinder spacing, we've got fuel rails to suit. And you've got your throttle housing. It's a nice billet component. For the throttle bodies, for the back plate that holds your air filter, we've got the aluminium plates, again with various hole centres depending on what application. We've also then got the option of having a carbon fibre back plate. It is a little bit lighter, but it looks a lot cooler on the car. Your fuel regulator, nice turn part, and then we use the genuine OE Bosch regulator insert. Really nice unit, dead reliable. There's a nice little bracket that mounts straight onto the engine. So we've also got a couple of other projects on the go, so we're actually developing our own carbon fibre wheel for the car. There's a bit of a project at the minute, so that's one of the first wheels. The aim is to get the wheel down to 3 kilos. So it's a 12-layer ply of pre-preg carbon fibre, and then there'll be a machined alley centre. So that's something that we're developing and playing with at the moment, that hopefully will be available at some point. Upstairs we've got our design office, so we've got Ant who's just designing up the new alternator bracket that we saw the first few parts being machined. So Ant can show you what we've got. The whole car now as a full complete CAD model, so the whole Gen 2 with all the engine, powertrain, as well as a complete CAD model, so we can do all the installation, clearances and everything. Okay, we've got the GBS workshop in here where we do full factory build cars, prepare cars for IVA, finish builds for customers and do some other project work. We've got a car here that Matt's just working on at the moment. It's a Mazda build for a customer in France that we're just preparing for the IVA, doing a few jobs on, getting it all prepped ready. So we've got two fully panelled chassis here. These are both going out as full component builds. So this is how you would get your full component build now. So they come on their build trolleys, they all come pre-panelled, scuttles on, all your interior panels on, and then you can start building from that point. These two are actually both going to paint. They're going to the customer fully painted as well. Also got one of our project builds on the go. So we do a lot of other various different engineering projects, different things. So we're doing a new Mark II Escort. So it's a brand new shell that's been made. We're running a 2.5 litre Duratec in it, 6-speed gearbox, 5-link Atlas rear axle, all the Bilstein struts. It's having electric power steering. It's running on the Life ECU. We're running a full PDM, power distribution module for the electrics and loom that we've designed. So there's no fuse box or relays in this car, it's all electronically controlled. So it'll feel very much like a modern day car. So that's just one of the projects that we're doing that we can talk about. This kit here is a 2-litre Z-Tech build that the customer's part built. It's come back to us, we're going to paint it, finish the build for them, put it through the IVA and do all the registration. So upstairs on the mezzanine in the workshop, Kurt is just building a factory built car. This came back from paint last week and we're now fitting all the other components and getting it ready. So just looking inside, the carpet sets that we spoke about earlier in the stores, they're all glued in. So they're all pre-cut, nice and neat, makes it a very quick and neat installation. All the wiring looms, all going in. As on the Gen 2, you've got your mountings there for your fuse box. You've got all your mounts for your fuel pipes just to slide through. All the loom gets clipped up along with the brake pipes. In the steering column in. 2.5 litre engine going in this one. With our ATR throttle bodies, pressure regulator on there, the larger radiator is standard, so then you'll have your 2 water pipes that go onto there, the ATR shocks on this one. Finished off over the next week and then it'll be going to IVA, get registered and go to the customer. When you come for your factory visit, once the world's out of lockdown, we'll normally show you around and then you can have a go at one of our factory demonstrators. We've got this one which is our full component build factory built demonstrator, which has got the 2.5 litre Duratec, some of the nice alley hubs on bits, and then we've also got our Mazda demonstrator, which is a typical Mazda build. So you've got both of them to have a look at, get a feel for what they go like, what the performance is like, what's involved in the build. If you're ordering any parts and that, more than likely you'll speak to Steve as the first point of call. He'll be able to help you out with any inquiries on any of the parts, technical on the parts, or if Steve can't help, he'll put you in touch with the right people. Also, when you order your kit and that, on all the timings, working out the logistics, whether it's shipping or collection dates, Steve's the man who you'll be liaising with on that. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this brief insight to what we're doing at GBS. We look forward to seeing you all shortly once we come out of lockdown at one of our Cars and Coffee events or at a show. Or if anyone wants to come up and book a test drive, come and have a closer look in a bit more detail, we'll be happy to come and see you. I hope everyone keeps safe and we'll see you soon.